Team Marker, Men Review, guys. Let's get right to it. Action, A24. What's going on, Movie Talk fans? I'm Ryan D. You can know Ryan680.
I'm Angela, Cat Lady Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk for movie fans, guys. And wow, one of those situations to where you think A24 has done the impossible, has done the very disturbing images already, very disturbing, visionary, whatever you want to call it, artistic. It's just when you think a studio really does something that's like out there, out of this world, out of this universe, out of this multiverse, no, that's not the case in this movie, guys. A24 comes out with a film called Men. This is our review of Men, and wow, what a crazy situation. Very gory film here, where we go into the true depths of artistic here. Men tells a story of a young woman goes on a solo vacation to an English countryside following the death of her ex-husband. Now, Angela, what are your thoughts out of this movie? I mean, I know we talked about it offhand. We knew before watching this movie that it was going to be very good. A lot of people say very graphic, and I would say very disturbing in this sense, because it really is. It gets you out of the theater, and that's the thing too, is that like out of the theater when it comes to A24. There's so many movies that could be like, I mean, Midsommar is a very popular word of mouth film. Everything is another movie that just came out this year. Knowing the momentum from the studio, it leaves you at the theater like, oh, what the hell did I just watch? Like, what did you think of this movie?
So going into A24, they've always done like those thriller, almost horror movies pretty well. So knowing that they did this movie, I already had pretty high expectations of it is going to be very artistic. Yeah. It's going to be definitely creepy. That's something that they really capitalize on. They're very good at. And so I know we saw a little bit of the trailer before. Yeah. And we kind of got a sense of like that it's going to be a ride. And holy cow, it really was a ride. I don't even think the plot justifies it. Like it doesn't. Takes a twist that is just, you're in the theater watching this and you kind of have that shock value of what is going on. Now, I would say A24 has very, very, they do a lot of symbolism, hidden meaning, and there's definitely in this movie. There's
so much different scenery here, and I love it because it really shows light. So we see actually, she leads it, of course, Jessie Buckley, and she comes in here and she really carries the movie for us. I mean, through the whole emotional aspect of it, because of her ex-husband who's recently dead, and we're not going to mention any spoilers here, so don't worry about that. But a recent death that did occur in this film, and you really see her not really go about it, but really of like, what if I did this? What if? So and that scenario,
it's established that there's a lot of like guilt and doubt.
Oh, definitely.
And as the story unfolds, you learn why. Yeah. But ultimately, it's just her.
That's not the main focus here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's her dealing with that afterwards. Yes. She goes to this house in the countryside and encounters something very interesting.
Very, very. I mean, I would say disturbing.
It's very disturbing. But I loved it because it's so daring to do that on film.
And that's the thing too, because a lot of moviegoers, they like to say, oh, this is, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this is not your average movie like popcorn film, like The Meg. It's not a movie like that whatsoever. It's very hidden symbolism here. It's very hidden scenery, very, very good artistic feels in this movie, which I really did enjoy from Alex Garland, who directed this film.
Definitely a lot of messages and takeaways from this. For me, where it draws the line for me is I don't necessarily understand all the hidden meanings to a certain extent. So I know that's probably why I didn't like another example, The Lighthouse. I didn't personally like it because it had so much hidden depth to it that I didn't understand the final takeaway, and I am just disappointed. It's not the film itself; it's just me as a person, average moviegoer.
But Defoe did great. I mean, we talked about that.
No, it's not on the actors or anything. But there's just this hidden message that I didn't get it, and it was almost like that in this case. But I still enjoyed the film as general because I love the scenes, like the horror scenes, the twists, and it was just so unnerving.
Very plot twisting.
Some like it just relies on like sounds and images to disturb you, and I really like those aspects.
Yeah, so this movie really focuses a lot on scenery and sounds, and the music, the score or the music for this was just so good. Like it was so brought up in the movie that it really carried this film so much, because the same sounds you hear in the beginning of this movie, it kind of carries the movie as a whole. And I love that. It really shows us like, hey, we're going to make these different sounds, we're going to make it work, and it's going to work so well and so well done. And it does, man. It gives you the vibe of this movie, it gives you the whole theme, the whole essence of like, where about is this movie really going in the middle of this film? And it takes you into a totally different ride, totally disturbing ride. And I enjoyed this movie. And I know people are going to be like, Ryan, what the hell? You crazy, man. You crazy for recommending this movie. But I'm going to recommend it if you know what A24 is about. And it seems like it, because A24 is an up-and-coming studio, even to this day, because people don't really know or don't really understand the full concept of A24 and the whole of they're not. And they may even made a statement too about it. They said, hey, we are not about a movie we're not about making money. We're about making artistic films. And they said it, they tweeted out actually this week saying, because they got a lot of criticism from audience goers. They say, we don't make movies for the audience. We make movies for the filmmakers. Right.
It's definitely, like you say, I can see why average moviegoers may not like it, because it's not your cookie cutter formula that works for every other horror film out there, which personally, I think that formula doesn't work for horror films. It's just so predictable, overused.
Yeah, way overused.
And that's why I like A24, because they do these different takes on it, and they put the artistic element on it, and it makes it so much different. Yep. And it may not be for everybody. Yeah. But, you know, I don't like all their films, but I do like there's some, like Midsummer, you mentioned. Love that film. It was so disturbing and creepy, and I feel like they've really capitalized on that. They've really honed in and perfected that. They're very good. If I see A24 as making it as a studio, I know what to expect from them. And they do really good artistic creepy films.
And that's the thing too. Even their worst movie is still good. Like, it's weird because A24 has come about. I mean, everyone knows Euphoria, and they know this as HBO, but production wise, it's A24. It's made by A24 people. It just those are the things that like is key elements to making a successful TV show / movie is creativity, and A24 does not disappoint. I already go in like knowing like, hey, if I'm gonna go see A24 movie, I know it's either gonna be a 7 or above. 7 or above and already.
It's so funny because they change it so many times. Like, they usually do a lot of good horror films. Yeah. But we go in and we're still shocked at what they put out there and what they dared to do. And I really like that about the studio itself.
And that's the thing too. I just don't know what to expect, and I love that because it's very unpredictable. It gets you a feeling of like, oh man, what am I gonna see? Like, what is going on here? Like, what is my eyes are about to see right now, because I'm about to get freaked out. And that's the thing too, because I forgot what Hereditary, where I got so tripped out. I literally came home. Angela could testify.
I did not see that movie
in theaters. And it was at night. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect because it's very unpredictable.
And this is coming from someone.
I got creeped out a little bit.
This is coming from someone who...
I had to watch something very... That movie, okay, again, I'm maybe over-predicting it, but it just overhyping it, right? But that movie, when I saw it in theater, when it was the bass, when it was just the whole atmosphere, you know, that movie... really, like, I had to watch something very comedy or light, or just like I had to watch something to get my mind off of that ceremony that did happen at the very end of that movie, that was very ritual like and was very eye-opening and very disturbing imagery by A24, which is effing brilliant. I loved it. But again, though, it just made me feel a certain way that I had to rewatch. I had to watch something light. I think I watched Star Wars. I watched something light. I had to watch something very happy because this movie was very dark. And I loved it, but again, it's very dark, and I would say this is not a typical movie. This is not a typical movie.
And this is coming from someone who laughs in horror films.
Yeah, I do laugh.
He laughs at like parts
I
in
like
scary
it.
movies,
I like
and
gory
to
points.
see him come home freaked out about it was great. And the studio did a very good job of doing that. It's not scary. Things pop out, but they do things and do stories realism. That really get under your skin and unnerve you. It's so great. That
could happen. That's the thing. That a lot of these situations they could happen in that sense, in that element. And Roy Kendler is actually in here too. And like, you know what's crazy is that we get to see him really shine in this movie a lot. No pun intended. We get to see him shine a lot more. No pun intended whatsoever. But like, we get to see certain elements here that we never thought I could ever, enjoyed. Against the countryside, I loved it. Makes you want to go to England, man. It really does. London makes you want to go to there and just definitely really good film here. Rating 1 out of 10. 10 be the highest, Angela. What do you give this rating?
Just because of how disturbing it really made me, I give it a 7.5 because I really liked the imagery. It wasn't as strong because, again, bigger picture, I didn't understand a lot of the takeaway. But that's just me. It, again, lots of symbolism. Maybe you'll understand. I just personally didn't. But that's just why. Overall, though, I enjoyed it. I really did. I
know I mentioned it. It's a spoiler, though, because we can't really mention what I got, because I'm not going to mention it. I'll mention it on the comments maybe a few weeks later, or about another week probably, so later. Or if you ask me or message me directly, I will talk about it. But I'm not going to mention it because it is a huge spoiler into why I think to really understand the whole concept of it, because it's very disturbing. It's very visual. It's very nerve-wracking because you're like, what are you trying to tell me? And again, I have my 2 scenarios there, and I won't mention it because it's going to ruin the whole experience for you. So yeah, I'll leave it like that. I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 as well, because I really did enjoy it. Now, it's crazy because I've never, that's probably one of my, for A24, that was probably one of my few lowest ratings, but I still enjoy it because it's above average. I still had a good time at the theater watching this movie because it's an experience. Movies like these need to be seen in theaters, not at home. If you watched Hereditary at home and you said it was, oh Ryan, you're crazy because you watched it, where'd you watch it the first time? At home. Well, then you didn't get the full experience. You don't understand the whole concept of like a dark room. You didn't watch it the whole through. You didn't watch it when everyone was freaking out with you, with surround sound, with the bass pumping, and you get to feel the whole essence of that story, get into that world. You did not live that movie. And again, though, that's just my point of view because I need to watch, at least the first time you need to watch that movie in a theater. But yeah, definitely, guys. We do recommend this movie. If you are A24 fans, we do recommend this movie, guys. And I'm definitely going to buy this movie, add this to the collection of A24 because this is just very trip film. But yeah, you would say you recommend it, right?
Yeah, I would. It's, again, not going to be for everybody. But if you do like the artistic style, if you just like horror in general, thrillers, I would recommend it. I would give it a try. Just give it a try.
Definitely, guys. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
I'm Angela Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Check out our other videos down here. Check you later, guys. Peace.
Now, wake up, wake up.